Hello guys, my name is Mohsen and I started a 3D printer company about 2 years ago. I've been working on developing and improving the 3D printers ever since. In fact, when we started, we were one of the few companies that offer a 3D printer with a heated chamber. At that time I thought it's rather easy and most of the problems were solved, but little by little I realized there are small things that you have to fix in order to get a printer that prints reliability. In that context, I realized one of the things that is missing in 3D printers is to know if you ran out of filament during a print, and also if there's some problem with the extruders, if there is a jam or I don't know, a failure in the heater, so you're running the printer dry. I looked into the market for different products and I realized the products that are available, they are limited to the company that is manufacturing the 3D printer. So you can only use their product on their specific brand. That's why I started developing, and I've been working on it for the past months to build a little device. I have it right here. And what it does is that you install it in your 3D printer, so between the spool and the extruders and the filament, and it's very simple. It has 5 wires that you connect to your motherboard on the 3D printer, and then when you want to install a new filament or replace a filament, the filament goes through a hole. So I don't know if the focus is there, and it just passes by. So once you do that, when the printer is extruding the filament, there's a little wheel that spins, and the wheel is connected to an encoder with a switch, and it will tell the printer how much filament is actually being extruded. So that's all it does, but it's a huge time saver, especially if you're running long prints. I had a 2-day print job, and then in the end of the second day I came up, like I wake up in the morning and I come up, look at it, and I realized I'm out of filament. Oh man, that was a disaster. And once you install this little device, it will pause the print, it will go park the extruder in its position, and it will wait for you until you come and fix the problem. It is rather to exchange the filament, or fix the extruder, correct any jamming if there is a jam in the spool. And I'm going to show you in practice how it actually works, very simply. So if you follow me, I'm printing right now a little part, and I'm going to switch to the camera to my phone. And okay, so I have installed these 2 extruders here. It's a dual extruder setup. As you see, there's a spool, there's a filament going through this machine, and then going through, and then I don't know if you can see it, I'm printing a little bearing holder. Now, once you come to the printer face or whatever that you're using, I'm in a debug mode, so usually you don't see all this data going through. But in a debug mode, you have it will show you all the variables that you have, and if you look at it, I have encoder 0, so that's the first encoder, and its value is being updated to 2mm, 4mm, 6mm, 8mm, and 10mm. And what happens is that it will reset on every 10mm of extrusion, and if there's a mismatch between the firmware and the actual extruded filament, the printer will pause. So let's say I'm printing right now. I'm going to simulate a jam in the filament. Let's say there's a jam in the spool, and we're going to just do that. So if I do this, so right now I sort of jam the filament, so the filament cannot extrude anymore. And what's going to happen is that it will try to print, and well, okay, there you go, it happened. It will try to extrude, it won't be able to do that, and then it will realize, okay, there's a problem. So it goes and parks the extruder in here. Let's come back to the printer face area. So I can see that I have a delta E of 10.069. So that's what the G code tells the printer to extrude, and then the amount of extrusion was only 2 millimeters. So for 8 millimeters it couldn't extrude, and then that triggered an alarm and internal reset sequence. So what you do after that, you fix the jamming problem, which I just did, and then you need to tell the printer that I fixed the jam problem. So you're going to type in M16, and it will release the motherboard. So pause. Then once it's released, it's not going to resume the print. You can move the nozzle. You have full access to everything. You can change the Z height. You can, well, obviously if you want to really replace the filament, then you can just replace the filament. Once you're done and everything is in order, you extrude. You can even extrude a little. 3 millimeter. Just in order to make sure that everything is good and the filament is working, then you go and print hit resume. And once you do that, the nozzle, the head, is going to go and exactly start from the point it has paused. And so I can see here print is resumed. If you want to re-enable the encoders, you're gonna type in M14 P2. So P2 tells it's in a debug mode, so you have access. You can actually see how much filament is extruded. If you type in P1, then you will be not in the debug mode, just the encoders are enabled. And if something happens, it will come and tell you about it. So this is it. It's a very simple device. The encoder is just $1.50 or $1. It's an Arduino board, and there are more expensive encoders, but you know what, this will do the job, and for little cost you can ensure that you never ever have to worry about the extruders or running out of filament. By the way, print finished in like 5 minutes after recording, so in case you're wondering how that pause affected the quality of the print, I already detached it from the printer bed, right? And here's the part. I hope you guys could see it. Going to zoom in and focus. Yeah. So there are, like, the layers are quite good. I can see one little space here. That is the filament missing. And then this side is pretty good too. And then there's a little bit here is missing as well. On the inside, kind of hard to get it on focus. I will put pictures of the part. So in general, it turned out quite okay. Like, you wouldn't notice that it was paused unless you actually know what happened. There's just 2 little notches, layers on the outside that are missing. Rest of it looks good. It's pretty strong too, so thank you.